right. And we've got team leader, fabulous, Meow. That's my daughter. Are you okay? Comfortable? We all comfy? Now, one other thing I need to let you know is because we're recording, we're going to adjust the mic for your height. We'll adjust the mic for your height. So as I'm introducing you, if you could come up, Finn will be just making an adjustment before you start speaking. So just as I'm reading out your bio, come on up. That'd be great. And he'll be doing the speaking.
Also, timekeeping. Yes. Somebody said there would be timekeeping. Ring a bell at 2.
Okay.
Ring a bell at 2 minutes, then at 3 minutes.
At 2.5.
I can just record the time for 3 minutes and know when it begins to
Will you let me know when it's 2.5?
Yes, I'll just tap you on the shoulder.
Stand next to you.
Yes,
Okay, all right.
and you
I'm just going to tap it at 2.5 and then 3 and it's probably too loud. Are we ready? Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. We are ready. Let's give them a bit of a warm-up round of applause. We want you to tweet and take photos tonight. Just tweet up a storm or post it on Insta. #BeakerTMAG is the hashtag. Welcome to the 2019 Beaker Street at TMAG Great Debate. My name is Natasha Mitchell from ABC Radio National and ABC Science. Our topic tonight, only technology will save us from ourselves. Will our technological wizards, widgets and gadgets, genetic engineering and geoengineering save us from frying to death in the impending climate apocalypse? Or when the apocalypse comes, will we be putting on our lipstick, gasping our last desperate breaths of polluted air so we can take sexy selfies and post them on Instagram in a last farewell to the world? I am your MC tonight. I am tough-minded. I am rigorous. I am fair. I am staunchly ethical. I have a big mother of a bell. And I'm open to bribes. But only if they involve wombats. The winning team has to give me a wombat. The rules, each team will have 3 speakers. Hello. They will have 3 minutes and no more to make their case for or against the proposition only technology will save us from ourselves. If they go over their allotted times, they are very bad boys and girls, and I will ring the bell and deafen you all. The team leaders will then have a chance to rebut the other team's case and make their final case. Then you, fair audience at Beaker Street at TMAG, will determine the winner by making an almighty racket louder than the bell. So, shall we begin? Excellent. I'm just going to quickly introduce the team. On the affirmative team, for the proposition only technology will save us from ourselves, team leader and biohacker Meow Luda Disco Gamma Meow Meow, otherwise known as Meow. Science communicator Zoe Keane. Paleontologist Professor Mike Archer. On the negative team, against the proposition only technology will save us from ourselves, team leader, award-winning ABC science writer and presenter Bernie Hobbs. Invasive species geneticist and cane toad chaser Dr. Leanne Rowland. And homegrown mathematician Dr. Barbara Holland. Okay, let's start. On the affirmative team, we have Meow Ludo Disco Gamma Meow Meow. Meow is a biohacker and a cyborg who started Australia's open access molecular biology lab and famously implanted an opal card, that's the transport card in Sydney if you don't know, into his arm, copped a fine from Transport New South Wales and then took them to court in one of the first cyborg rights legal cases. Yeah. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Since the first cell on Earth started dividing, a sequence of events was put in place that would catalyse in only one of two options. Either we'd create technology to ascend life itself, or we'd end up destroying ourselves and annihilating ourselves. From pacemakers to cochlear implants, vaccines to selfie sticks, no one can argue that technology has made our life worse. Like the kangaroo and the emu on the Australian coat of arms, technology can only walk forwards, never backwards. And this is a good thing. Our lives are better because of technology. We're living longer and older than we ever have, and some of us are choosing to integrate that technology into our bodies. Now, we're not the only ones that use tools. Lower order animals such as fish, octopus, birds, and even some politicians use tools and technology in their everyday life. While I was doing research for this debate, I stumbled upon something called Jevons paradox. Now, some of the people in the room may have heard about this, and it was basically that when coal power plants were created, they thought by adding more coal power plants that we would no longer need to build more because we'd have enough energy to produce for everyone. But as we made more power plants, people filled that and used it more and more. So basically, increasing technology can't reduce demand for it because we love to use the technology that we have. This is really important because technology can create better power plants and it can also make it cleaner. So instead of using coal, we can move to solar. We're never going to stop using electricity, though, so that is basically why technology can only save us from ourselves. This is important with things like antibiotics, where we're continually building better mousetraps to chase the mouse, and we're seeing it now with solutions to things like climate change. Now, climate change is something that happens naturally anyway. It's something that we... Geologically, climate change has happened in the past. We're definitely creating this one, though, and I think technology is probably the only way that we're going to solve ourselves. Overpopulation is another one, so it's a big threat, and it's not solved with abstinence, it's solved with contraception and education. And I'll wrap up here that the problems created by technology need to be solved by technology. Thank you very much.
That bell is actually quite hard. Thank you, Meow! Okay, over to the team leader of the negative team. Yes, to argue against the proposition only technology will save us from ourselves is Bernie Hobbs, award-winning science writer and presenter who's been winning over audiences for decades. Did you write this? Winning over audiences for decades through her work in television and on ABC Science. She brings her sharp mind and sharper wit, she did write it, to emceeing and moderating. Please welcome Bernie Hobbs.
Oh, thank you, Tash. Thank you, Hobart. And thank you, Meow Meow. I'm just going to reiterate the topic because clearly you hadn't heard it before you wrote that argument. And I also want to, just a bit of housekeeping, don't worry if you spill any drinks or anything tonight because we're going to be wiping the floor. So not a problem there. Just one other thing. I know we're short on time, but we feel it's only fair that our team lodge a formal protest against the topic of the debate, which is completely unfair. This topic that only technology can save us from ourselves is unwinnable by the affirmative team. They have zero chance of convincing anyone that only technology can save us from ourselves. Okay, that's all the technical stuff out of the way. Here is why that topic cannot be made to make sense of. There are two problems with it. The first is the first three words. Only technology can. Technology on its own can do nothing. When was the last time you saw a wheel pick itself up and roll on down the street? Very lazy things, wheels, but even our more advanced technology, our artificial intelligence, these great algorithms doing all the hard yards for the big corporations, they can't do anything without us. They are tools that we made, we use them. Only technology can do nothing. Technology can do nothing on its own. In a possible future, I'm very happy to accept that we may one day have sentient forms of AI, and that in that case we will have technology with agency which can do its own thing. Now, the great thing is there, if you think about sentient AI, this all-knowing, all-powerful, all-connected being that's suddenly present on the planet, will take... What's that, mate? The Borganism. So we will have... it'll take one look at the place, at the mess that it's in, and it's no doubt going to be able to track back to the root cause of all those problems, and it will find that root cause is us. So the chances of a sentient AI doing anything to save us, which is the only possible way that technology could save us, unless it develops some weird-ass kind of Stockholm syndrome while it was in its formative stages, I do not see that happening. So that's the first problem with the topic, the first half of it. The second half of it is the other half of the problem, and that is that technology can save us from ourselves. Nothing can save us from ourselves. I'm going to paraphrase one of the great moral philosophers of the 1970s, Mike Brady, when he said to Carol and the kids on a regular basis, wherever you go, there you are. We can't be saved from ourselves because we are who we are. There's only one chance that I can see for a technology that could save us from ourselves, and that would be a virus that targeted sociopaths with narcissistic tendencies in positions of power selectively.
It's all over, Bernie.
I could get behind that. But there's a massive flaw if you know any evolution. If you remove one layer of an ecosystem, that's a vacuum that will be filled.
We work together. It's like this every day at the ABC. Oh, I heard that exclamation. All right, now we have on the affirmative team, next up, Professor Mike Archer from the UNSW, University of New South Wales in Sydney. He's a paleontologist whose research focuses on the deep past, the fragile present. He's trying to rise extinct species up from nowhere into existence again. He studies beautiful fossils in beautiful places, and he understands ancient Australia like none other. Please welcome to the stage Professor Mike Archer.
Thank you very much. Will technology save us? You bloody bet it will. And if it doesn't, we're in deep shit. Is that going on the ABC? I don't know. Okay, David Attenborough said recently, humans have screwed evolution. We've just killed it. And why is he saying that? Because every human being, no matter how fit, is now able to reproduce. So he said basically we've stepped outside of the whole game. And therefore, I would argue, if that's the case, and we're no longer controlled by natural selection, man, we have got to pick up this ball and run with it, and we do have to manipulate not our own genome, but anything else. I give you humans 2.1, the second great version. 80% of us are going to suffer from bad backs. Why? Because chairs are now considered to be the new cigarette. You know, it's killing us. Why? Because of computers and phones. We're sitting down all the time. Everybody's going to get bad backs. Think of the hero shrew. We're going into this wonderful business about gene borrowing here, a little bit of, argy-bargy between the rest of the natural world. The hero shrew has backbones that are locked together with about 20 separate points. There is no way you can damage a hero shrew's backbone. You can stand on it, literally. There are pictures of people jumping on this shrew, and you hear a little tiny and it runs off. They are indestructible. And there's a gene for that. Why wouldn't we borrow that little gene and drop it into our own genome, and none of us will ever have bad backs? Yes, we have climate change going on, and we do have a problem about the world is going to go into meltdown, and it's going to be floods, and you've all seen that wonderful movie, what was it called? Waterworld? No, so they're kibitzing from the side. I need another 30 seconds. So, all right. But Waterworld was wonderful. Kevin Costner, remember, had a gill behind his ear. What is that? We have that capacity. It's called the eustachian canal. It is a gill. It's the link between your throat and your middle ear. It's still a gill slit, and the genetic potential to get tissue in there to actually strip oxygen out of water is there. Kevin showed us how you can do it. And you can forget the meltdown. The whole world's going to melt down, but we're all going to become mermaids and mermen. Not a problem. And food. The global population is there's going to be 10 billion by 2050. It's going to mean an increase of the need for food for everybody, 59 to 98%. Let's get the plant solution into us. Get chloroplast into humans. You can already get chloroplast into mammal cells. And every time you feel hungry, bugger it. If you're green, it doesn't matter. Go out in the sunshine and have a snack. Thank you.
I think that's the first time I've managed to keep you to time, Mike Archer. Well done. Okay, so how are we going, folks? Feeling good? Racking up your votes? Working it out, getting ready to vote? Excellent. Well, the next person on the negative team, Dr. Leanne Rowland from the University of New South Wales in Sydney, is an invasive species geneticist. She works on cane toads, those beloved beasts, and introduced pests has led to her being a leading voice of caution, in fact, in the use of genetic technologies as biological control agents. Please welcome Dr. Leanne Rowland.
Two quick points about what Mike just said. First of all, it's ludicrous to say that humans aren't still evolving. We know that they are. For example, we are reaching reproductive status earlier. There's good evidence to support this, many more. The only reason I can think of that Mike might want that shrew backbone is because he's going to get stomped on tonight by our team. Today I want to use two examples to show how technology was first hailed as a solution to our greatest health issues, but in time was perverted by humans to our own detriment. My first example focuses on Crispr gene editing in humans. You can't hardly open the paper today without seeing something about Crispr gene editing. Clearly, the potential to use such technology to edit disease mutations is intriguing, but CRISPR gene editing has huge potential for abuse, and we didn't have to wait long to see it happen, did we? Last year, a Chinese scientist named He announced his work using CRISPR to modify the CCR5 gene in two babies, Lulu and Nana, whose father is HIV positive. People carrying the variant of this gene that he produced are less susceptible to HIV infection. Putting the enormous ethical issues aside, there are a host of biological problems associated with He's science, including technical problems with the actual procedure and the potential for off-target effects, just to name two. But what's really striking here is that this was completely unnecessary. We already have protocols that work for HIV-positive fathers to have healthy babies, such as assisted reproductive technology. This highlights how humanity's flaws invariably result in the perversion of technology. Really, it wasn't a question of whether we would do this, but when. The second example I want to give you is about genome ownership. Raise your hand if you've sequenced your genome through a commercial service. Surely some of you have. When commercial genome services were first available, all we've heard was how fun it would be to know about our heritage and that this would revolutionize disease diagnosis and personalized medicine for the masses. But it's not really available to the masses, is it? This is our first world luxury, widening the divide between us and the majority of the planet. And do we really know what we're agreeing to when we sign those release forms? Our unique genetic footprint essentially renders it impossible for this data to be truly anonymous. Biobanking is big business now, but research indicates that public trust in this is as low as 6%. And it remains to be seen how commercial agreements between biobanks and the healthcare industry will result in the manipulation of these data. And we've all heard about how governments and law enforcement agents compel these companies to release your data to them. These two examples illustrate how human failings ruin the promise of technology, and no matter how rosy a technological advance appears to be, in time, humans will use it for their own personal gain.
You're a bunch of cheats. Oh, you cheats. Leanne Rowland, give it up. Okay, to round it off for the affirmative team, that only technology will save us from ourselves, is Zoe Keane, science communicator, presenter of Xenomia at times on Community's radio station Edge Radio, former assistant director of this very festival, Beaker Street at TMAG, and now a cadet science journalist with ABC's Science and Radio National. This debate is not her first rodeo. She was on the debating team at school. Give it up for Zoe Keane.
Yes, I have just outed myself as one of those school debating people. I don't know about you all, but I think I'm going to need a drink after this debate. And do you know why? I am thoroughly depressed by the lack of optimism shown by the misanthropists over here. And I want to offer you a little bit of hope that technology not only is the only thing that can save us all, but we have the choice to work with technology to save us all and to dig us out of this hole that, we have got ourselves into. So I'd just like to look back at the last 100, 150 years. Technology has gone a long way. In the rise of an amazing technological revolution, we have seen a rise in social justice, fairness and equality. And why have we seen that? Because people have been able to communicate with each other. And this communication has joined people up to fight for social justice and fight for what we need to fight for. I am so glad that the suffragettes had access to a telegram. Because if the suffragettes didn't have access to the telegram and steam trains to get from A to B to protest and be where they needed to be and spread their arguments across the world, you know what? I'm not sure I'd be voting today. Technology has continued in this vein. With the rise of the internet, previously marginalised social groups have been able to join together and work out that, hey, we're not alone. Now, if you're a young LGBTI person living in a rural community, instead of being the only person in your town, you're one of millions around the world. And that's bloody amazing. So I must acknowledge that as this amazing rise in social justice has occurred, and it does have some bumps, there's work to do, it has gone hand in hand with a dip in the way we've treated the planet. And what I offer to you guys on the negative side, is...
Just call us the winning team.
Sorry. On the delusional side over here is a chance. And the chance I offer you is to make the political choice to, instead of wallowing in your own sadness and muck and hatred of humanity, to pick up technology and use it to not only create more social justice, but create environmental justice. I'm looking forward to the day where, because of AI, we're all working 3-day weeks, we're all working 3-day weeks, spread out. We've worked out a social economy where everyone has a job, there's no unemployment, and I'm laying out on the grass photosynthesising with my mates.
Zoe Keane. Give it up for Zoe Keane on the affirmative side. Okay. Bringing it round. 3-hour week. Bring it on. Okay, rounding it off for the negative team, Dr. Barbara Holland is a mathematician right here at the University of Tasmania who works within the theoretical phylogenetics research group in the School of Natural Sciences. Bit of biology, bit of maths. She's got her crew and enjoys the challenge of working with biologists. Who's a biologist? Hello, biologists. In trying to translate the problems they face into the language of maths. Give it up for Barbara Holland.
Thank you very much. You've got to admire the optimism of youth, don't you, folks? Isn't it a wonderful thing? But Admire for a little while, because I regret to tell you that, I'm sorry, technology is most certainly not going to save us from ourselves. I'm going to begin with an analogy to a book by Alain de Botton that he wrote about going on holiday. It says you walk into the travel agents, you get your glossy brochure, and you look at the blue, blue sea and the golden sand and the lovely palm fronds. You're like, this holiday will be paradise. But you forget that when you go on holiday, you come too. And all of your baggage and your prejudices and your biases, they're going to be there with you on holiday. And it's just the same with technology. It looks shiny. It looks like it has this allure of rationality, progress. But unfortunately, technology is made by us. And technology is used by us. And therein lies the problem. Cathy O'Neill wrote this wonderful book called Weapons of Math Destruction. And it basically uses all these fantastic examples of how algorithms that are supposed to be fair and impartial, and they're there to decide things like, will you get a loan? Will you get parole? Will you get the job you're going for? Who will be suggested as a potential mate in whatever dating website you're using? All of these algorithms, what are they built on? They're built on big data. Yay! Correlational things. They're built on data sets that have been formed in a world that, I'm sorry to say, is a little bit racist, a little bit sexist. And so the algorithms that get built from these data are a little bit racist and a little bit sexist. And even though they appear to be, very, very fair, they're just totally not. All right. Okay, next point. So, also, and this is courtesy of my mother, who did a bit of research for me, technology is killing women, apparently. Because everything that's built with technology is designed with the default user in mind. And I'm afraid to say that the default user is one of these creatures, a man. And so everything from crash test dummies to doses of medicine to protective vests, all of it is designed with men in mind, not women. And so, unfortunately, we freeze in our over-air-conditioned offices because technology hasn't actually been built for us. Remember the spacesuit debacle just a few days ago? Well, it was probably a bit longer than that. Okay, so tech is also used by us. Do we have technology to cure disease? Yes, we have vaccines. Do we still have measles? Yes. Why? Because some people are dickheads and they spread misinformation and lies. Yes. Could we cure climate change? Of course we could cure climate change. We have the technology to make energy without spewing carbon. Do we? No. Why? Because we're fuckwits. It doesn't work. So, tech will not save us from ourselves. Because it's made by us.
All right,
it's
okay.
used by us, and we are not
people. Barbara Holland. All right. Now it's time for a rebuttal. Will they change your assessment of the proceedings so far? That is the question. So to bring it home for the affirmative team, we have Meow Ludo Disco Gamma Meow Meow, otherwise known as Meow.
Thank you very much. Hello? Hello? Yeah, there we go. So we've just had the negative team try and convince us that technology doesn't have a mind of its own, and then another speaker trying to convince us that it does. And we're looking towards things like the threat of AI. So the first speaker mentioned that an AI may one day come into existence that wants to kill all of us because it's going to look back and see where the problem is. Well, I know that I myself certainly won't be a part of the problem because I heavily support AI. If an AI of the future is listening now, please. It's actually... This is actually a problem called Rocco's basilisk, which says once we get a godlike AI, it will be able to work out what every human has ever done in the past and punish them accordingly. So think about that when you're voting for who you want to win this one tonight. John Cezanne is a famous anarcho-primitivist. So he believes we should all go back to the cave, get rid of fire. He also wears glasses. So every person who seems to be arguing against technology always has some exception. Like if you've ever met a racist, they always have one friend from that race they kind of like. Yeah, it's weird. So anyway, I met him. He wants everything to go back, but he still uses technology, so we can't escape it. So if we can't beat him, join him. Icarus was curious, developed technology, and was interested in the sun and flew higher and higher. And technology is kind of like this. We want to exceed the limits and extend ourselves. Now, as Icarus flew higher, the wax on his wings melted, and he fell and died in the ocean. But he didn't die from his wings failing. He died because he didn't have a parachute. Thank you.
Thank you, Meow. Okay, to bring it back home for the negative team, we've got Bernie Hobbs, team leader.
Thanks, Tash, and thanks, Meow. Icarus really just needed more buoyant wax, frankly, because if he'd held on to that, he would have been fine. Unfortunately, none of us are against technology. I mean, Barbara eats, raw data, big data for breakfast 3 days a week. It really helps with the interval fasting. And Barbara is like, gene tech drive expert, so we're in no way, we're as connected, as dependent on our devices as anyone in the room, with the exception of Catboy, who's clearly on another level. But we need people to push the boundaries and experiment, otherwise we will get nowhere. We are not against technology. Whatever technology can achieve under our guidance, we are totally for that. But the debate's title, I'm just going to say it one more time, only technology can save us from ourselves. Technology is not going to do anything on its own, and nothing is going to save us from ourselves. We have tried. I mean, we are flawed beings. You don't have to take away too much and scratch too far beneath the surface before you see the fundamental drivers. No matter how much niceness we do, underneath it, we've all got power, greed, and fear driving pretty much everything. So, that hasn't changed. We've tried gods. That didn't work. We've tried the criminal injustice system, also not much of a player. Democracy, wasn't that fun? We've tried learning from our mistakes. No, we haven't. Sorry, that's on the to-do list for us. So we have tried a few things to save us from ourselves. I'm offering the answer to the debate, which is only technology can save us from ourselves, not. Sorry. And I love that you were painting a picture. I mean, Leanne did point out that when you started talking about, giving us hope and, getting us away from all the bad news, it did sound a little like, what's that guy's name? Oh, Trump. That's right. A little bit like that delusional thing. Also, the rise in social justice and equality has been remarkable, especially for rich white guys. It's been a phenomenal success in that department. But I'm pretty sure you're going to have to agree with the negative team on this issue that only technology can do nothing. On its own, nothing, and certainly nothing can save us from ourselves. We're flawed. As long as we can sort a few things out, we'll get through it, and we'll still be the same flawed creatures that we are. I'm kind of fond of most of us. So enjoy, vote off and vote hard, especially Barbara's friends and students. And thank you for, throw them a line. Come on, just give them a bit of a clap. Nice try.
Takes. Bernie Hobbs. Okay, so it's over to you folks. How loud can you go here at Beaker Street at TMAG for 2019, the great debate? Okay, will we end up in a technological utopia, having solved all our problems? Or is our only path to survival and happiness a world where we appreciate our technology, but ultimately we liberate ourselves from our technology and learn to love each other? So, I'm editorialising, it's what I do.
Beats listening.
You having a go at me? I'm the boss. Okay, so for the proposition, Only technology will save us from ourselves. Make a noise. Okay. Against the proposition, only technology will save us from ourselves. Check that. For the proposition, only technology will save us from ourselves. Against the proposition, only technology will save us from ourselves. I think that's a resounding...
Barbara Holland fan club.
The negative team have won the 2019 Great Debate here at Beaker Street at TMAG. Only technology will save us from ourselves. Give it up for Bernie Hobbs, Barbara Holland and Leanne Rowland. Please have compassion for Mike Archer, Meow Meow and Zoe Keane. Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much for being here. We recorded this event for Science Friction on ABC Radio National. You'll be able to get it on the podcast feed. Subscribe, will ya? Or listen to Radio National on Sundays at 5 o'clock, Fridays at 11:30. Science Friction, we've loved being here at the festival. And next up, now, we're announcing the winner of the photographic prize. Almost. So stay around. Yeah. Hey, by the way... Excuse me, but this is Big Boss Woman. This woman and her team make this happen every year.